Hello everyone. Many people relish being in the spotlight, soaking up admiration and seeking applause. But what about Sigma females? They're built differently. For them, getting noticed isn't a treat. It's more of an annoyance, an interruption to their meticulously planned lives. While most might think that attention is charming, they actually find it overwhelming. Sigma females prefer to set their own rules, and when all eyes are on them, they feel like they're losing the independence they so dearly guard. In a world that values visibility, they choose to stay out of sight, not from a lack of self-assurance, but because they view attention as a burden that connects them to expectations they never wanted. Let's dive in. Unique treasures. I suggest watching the whole video for deeper understanding, and I'm eager to see your opinions in the comments. Number 1. They prefer to stay out of the public eye. Sigma females strongly dislike being seen as something for the public to examine and discuss. When people notice them, they feel like they're losing control over who they are. Suddenly, everyone has opinions about their lives, advice on what they should do next, or even demands for their time. This kind of public attention clashes with what Sigma females hold dear. They greatly value their freedom and the ability to make their own choices. When they become the center of attention, it feels like they're losing that freedom, turning into a subject for others to talk about or enjoy. For Sigma females, this type of attention is unwelcome and feels as though they're being used for others' interests. Every action they take and every word they speak gets scrutinized, and people start to expect them to fulfill others' desires as if that's their purpose. They find this unacceptable. Sigma females resist being shaped or swayed by outside influences, and public attention tries to do just that, pressuring them to conform to what others expect. They prefer staying out of the spotlight, where they can manage their lives freely without fitting into the roles society expects of them. By remaining unnoticed, they preserve their independence and steer clear of the uneasy feeling of being treated like a public commodity. Number 2. Being in the spotlight often leads to being misunderstood. Sigma females are keenly aware of the risks that come with public attention. As soon as they are noticed, people start creating stories about them that often don't reflect their true selves. For Sigma females, being misrepresented feels like a deep betrayal of their core values. They value authenticity highly, and it hurts them when others distort their true nature out of misunderstanding. It's not that they are shy or scared of visibility, but they deeply dislike being wrongly interpreted. In the public eye, their actions and motives are often twisted and misinterpreted, leading them to be depicted in ways that don't align with their actual identities. That's why Sigma females prefer to keep a low profile. They understand that being in the spotlight leads to misinterpretations and false assumptions. Every word and action is taken out of context, turning into a reality they don't recognize or accept. The cost of being misunderstood is too high for them. Sigma females cherish living life on their own terms, away from the distorted stories others might create. They would much rather maintain control over their own story quietly than be visible and have others misconstrue their actions. To them, public attention opens the door to misunderstandings they'd rather avoid, choosing instead to keep that door firmly shut. Number 3. Being noticed undermines their ability to observe quietly. Sigma females excel when they can stay in the background, silently taking in their surroundings. It is during these times, when they're unnoticed, that they gather their most profound insights. They quietly watch others' actions, behaviors, and intentions without being detected. This direct observation helps Sigma females to deeply understand people piercing through surface-level impressions and noticing subtleties that most overlook. It's a subtle, strategic edge that helps them grasp how people interact and the true nature of their environment. However, this advantage fades when they become visible. As soon as others realize they are being observed, they alter their behavior. They become more reserved and self-conscious, altering their actions to create a particular impression, and suddenly their actions are coated with self-consciousness. For Sigma females, being noticed spoils the truthfulness of what they see. Instead of observing people as they genuinely are, they end up watching an act, a version of reality changed by people knowing they're being observed. Losing this genuine, unfiltered view is something Sigma females deeply dislike. They detest being visible because it takes away their ability to fully understand and judge situations freely. It removes their advantage, making it difficult for them to move through the world with the sharpness and clarity they value. For them, remaining unseen is not just a preference, it's crucial for keeping a true sense of their surroundings. Thank you for being a cherished subscriber. Your ongoing support is incredibly valuable to us and motivates us to continue creating impactful content. We deeply value your involvement and commitment. Number 4. It exhausts their mental reserves. For a Sigma female, being social can be really tiring, especially when the interactions feel fake or unimportant. She doesn't care for chit-chat or shallow talks. They just drain her energy. Often people are attracted to her and want to talk, ask her questions, or just be near her, expecting her to interact a lot. But this wears her out mentally. She does best on her own. She loves her alone time, not just as a choice, but as a necessity to recharge and feel true to herself. Constant demands for her attention pull her away from this comfort zone and force her to expend more energy than she feels comfortable with. Discussions that aren't meaningful or obligatory. Socializing leave her feeling depleted, like she's running on empty. She doesn't enjoy always having to be sociable, especially when it means she has to explain herself or meet others' expectations. When she has to keep engaging because of others' demands, it slowly drains her mental energy. The more she interacts, the less time she has to think, reflect, and just exist by herself. It's not that she doesn't like people, it's that too much meaningless interaction empties her. She needs her solitude to refuel and preserve her energy, which is why constant, unwanted attention feels like a slow puncture in her mental energy reserve. Number 5. The lifestyle and achievements of Sigma females can make others envious. A Sigma female lives her life in a way that can unintentionally cause others to feel jealous. She doesn't try to impress anyone or look for others to approve of her actions. Her natural self-assurance, self-reliance, and success on her own terms can make some people feel insecure. Her achievements are not flashy, but they are significant and noticeable. This often causes envy among those who usually just go along with what everyone else does. The root of this jealousy is that Sigma females don't conform to common expectations. They don't follow conventional paths or need others' validation. Sigma females chart their own course in their work, relationships, and personal development. Their independence and self-sufficiency are traits many admire, but find hard to understand or imitate. Seeing someone thrive without adhering to common social rules can trigger feelings of inadequacy or frustration in people who live more traditionally. Additionally, Sigma females don't participate in typical social interactions. They don't seek attention or try to win others' approval, making their success appear even more effortless. This independence from external validation can provoke jealousy in others who depend on peer approval. The ability of a Sigma female to prosper without this external validation is both inspiring and, for some, quite troubling. Number 6. Others often view them as rivals, even though they don't see it as a competition. Many people view Sigma females as competitors in social or work environments, but they're not really looking to compete with anyone. They are independent and capable, which might look like a challenge to others. This can cause misunderstandings and some tension. When people notice a confident woman who seems completely self-assured, they often think they have to compete with her or do better than her. This idea usually comes from societal beliefs that encourage competition, particularly among women. Observing a Sigma female who succeeds on her own terms without needing others' approval can be startling. Rather than seeing her as someone who could be a friend or a teammate, people mistakenly view her as an opponent. This way of thinking often leads to rumors, insincere praise, and sometimes even unfriendly behavior. Yet, Sigma females usually concentrate on their own paths and ambitions, rather than trying to outperform others. They don't follow the usual rules of comparing and competing that shape many social interactions. While others might see her confidence and achievements as a threat, the Sigma female is just being true to herself, aiming for personal satisfaction and growth. She believes that everyone has their unique journey, and she honors that. For her, competing with others doesn't matter. She values real relationships and improving herself more. This fundamental difference can lead to a situation where others feel the need to compete, while she simply progresses in her own way. In her view, success isn't about winning against others. It's about discovering her own niche and doing well there. Number 7. People tend to talk about them negatively when they are not around. Sigma females often find themselves the subject of rumors, even though they don't do much to draw attention. Their quiet confidence, independence, and air of mystery spark curiosity. Instead of trying to understand them, however, people often choose to whisper about them when they're not around. The quieter Sigma females are, the more others seem compelled to make up stories or spread rumors to fill the silence. One reason people gossip about Sigma females is that they don't follow typical social norms. They keep their personal lives private and don't feel the need to justify their actions or choices. This secrecy leaves room for speculation, allowing gossip to thrive as people impose their own interpretations and assumptions about her life based on limited information. People often make up stories about a Sigma female's relationships, career, or why she values her independence, just to satisfy their own curiosity. What's particularly bothersome for her is that she's not even interested in the social limelight or drama that often surrounds her. So, when she learns about the rumors being spread about her, it only makes her want to keep her distance even more. To her, gossip is not just irritating. It's evidence that people prefer to talk about her rather than genuinely understand her. This sort of trivial gossip only drives her deeper into her own space, where she doesn't have to contend with such needless rumors. Number 8. Being recognized brings along unwanted expectations. For Sigma females, getting noticed can be a mixed blessing. Initially, it might be nice to be praised for their talents or successes. However, such praise often brings a lot of expectations they didn't agree to. Once they catch people's attention, others start to make assumptions about what a Sigma female should be or do, leading to a lot of pressure. These expectations can be overwhelming. Suddenly, it seems like everyone has an opinion on how she should behave, what decisions she should make, or even how she should show her feelings. The more they expect, the more it feels like she's losing touch with who she really is. Sigma females cherish their freedom and the ability to live life their way, and when others try to set standards for them, it feels like a heavy burden. That's why many Sigma females choose to stay out of the spotlight, where they can be true to themselves without others watching every move. They don't like being confined to certain roles or meeting the demands of those who don't really understand them. For a Sigma female, living according to someone else's expectations isn't just uncomfortable. It feels like giving up a part of herself. She values her uniqueness and sees it as key to her success. So the thought of conforming to someone else's idea is both annoying and intolerable. Number 9. They value their privacy highly. For Sigma females, privacy isn't just a preference, it's an essential part of who they are and how they feel safe. In a society where being noticed can lead to wrong impressions and misunderstandings, keeping private is their way of protecting themselves from the confusion of being judged by others. When they become the center of attention, it feels as if they're losing this shield. Suddenly, their private thoughts, feelings, and decisions are topics of conversation, making them open to criticism from people who might not really get what drives them or what they're like. Being seen means their private matters could become subjects of rumors or guesses, which can be very disturbing for a Sigma female. Letting others into her personal space is a very close and sacred act, and having it revealed without her say-so feels like a violation. She knows well that people often impose their own ideas and stories on her, interpreting her actions based on their own views rather than seeing who she really is. This often results in a misrepresentation that she finds very upsetting. For her, privacy is not just about comfort. It's a form of power. It lets her live life on her own terms, free from the burden of other people's expectations. When her privacy is invaded, it reduces her independence and makes her feel unprotected. Therefore, for Sigma females, staying unnoticed isn't just a personal choice. It's an essential tactic to keep their strength and remain true to themselves in a world that frequently overlooks their complexity. Number 10. Being noticed tends to boost egos, which isn't their goal. Sigma females understand that getting attention can sometimes mess up what's really important. They realize that while being in the spotlight can boost someone's pride, it might also sidetrack them from their true goals. When people notice them, they often expect them to behave a certain way or do things that please others. This expectation can make Sigma females feel pressured to meet those demands, which can take them away from what they really want to achieve. For Sigma females, staying true to their own plans and dreams is crucial. They follow their own path and make choices based on their personal vision. However, when they become the center of attention, the temptation to seek others' approval can be strong. This might lead them to act in ways that are more about getting approval than fulfilling their own significant goals. This change not only tires them out but also scatters their attention, making it tough to stick to their own path. They understand that attention is a tricky thing. While it may bring some quick fame, it can also steer them away from their true principles and aims. Instead of feeling strong, being in the spotlight can feel like a trap, pulling them into a pattern of trying to make others happy instead of following their own goals. For Sigma females, the best way to live is by keeping connected to what's important to them, not by chasing the short-lived pleasure that comes from being noticed. They prefer to remain unnoticed but focused on their goals, rather than visible but lost in what others expect from them. Number 11. They often receive advice they didn't ask for. When Sigma females end up in the center of attention, they often receive a flood of unasked-for advice. Suddenly, it seems like everyone around them thinks they know what's best for her, sharing their views and tips as if they understand her journey better than she does herself. This rush of unwanted advice can be really annoying. It questions their independence and smarts, making them feel doubted. Sigma females value their freedom and are proud of deciding for themselves. They know exactly what they want and the best way to get there, and they do not like others telling them how to manage their lives, especially those who aren't close to them. It's not just irritating, it feels like an invasion of their personal space. For them, this constant flood of opinions is offensive, implying that they can't manage their own lives. What makes it even worse is that most of this advice is based on misunderstanding. People impose their own experiences or wishes on her, thinking they can provide useful or relevant advice. But for Sigma females, this just makes them want to withdraw into their own space even more. They cherish their ability to think for themselves and make their own plans. The unasked for advice they get often seems like a clumsy effort to control or sway them, rather than genuinely assist them. It drives them further from meaningful relationships, underscoring their need for solitude and self-reliance. Number 12. Seeking solitude for creativity and problem-solving. Sigma females often seek solitude not just to escape the often overbearing nature of unwanted attention, but also as a vital space for their creativity and problem-solving skills to flourish. When they are alone, they can dive deep into their thoughts, explore new ideas, and come up with solutions that are truly innovative and sometimes revolutionary. Being unnoticed allows them the freedom to think outside the box, without the pressure of conforming to societal norms or others' expectations. This solitude is not about isolation. Rather, it's about creating a personal sanctuary where their mental clarity and creativity can thrive uninterrupted. It's in these quiet moments that Sigma females often find their greatest insights and breakthroughs, which they can then apply to various aspects of their lives, be it personal challenges or professional projects. The skill of stepping back to think deeply isn't just a personal choice, it's a smart way to lead a satisfying and effective life. This keeps them sharp in a society that usually overlooks those who are quietly thoughtful. Number 13. Cherishing genuine relationships over popularity. Unlike those who crave widespread attention and superficial relationships, Sigma females place immense value on deep and genuine connections. They prefer to cultivate a few meaningful relationships rather than a wide circle of acquaintances, choosing quality over quantity every time. This selective approach to social interactions ensures that they surround themselves with people who truly understand and appreciate their unique nature, creating a supportive and understanding environment. For Sigma females, the quality of relationships is far more important than quantity, and they find greater satisfaction in deep, authentic connections that respect their need for privacy and independence. These connections are formed on a solid base of shared respect and comprehension, rather than brief encounters driven by shallow interests. In a world where many are obsessed with the number of friends or followers they have, Sigma females remind us that true connection comes not from the crowd, but from the depth of interaction with trusted individuals who appreciate their complex nature without imposing unwelcome expectations. As we conclude, in a world that often prizes being seen and acknowledged, Sigma females are different. They find their power in being on their own and thinking deeply. For them, getting noticed isn't something to be proud of. It actually makes them uncomfortable and annoyed. They prefer staying out of the limelight, where they can watch, think, and manage life in their own way. Being in the spotlight comes with too many expectations, unwanted advice, and pressures that can be overwhelming, pushing them into situations they didn't choose. When they get attention, It feels like an invasion of their privacy, turning their personal thoughts and decisions into topics for others to guess about. The kind of attention that many people seek seems like a heavy load to them, shifting their focus from what truly matters and weakening their intentions. Their special skill to see the world from the edges is lost, as they can't observe people and events clearly without the confusion that comes from being in the limelight. In the end, Sigma females put their freedom and real selves first. They love the ability to go through life without drawing attention, staying true to who they are, away from the pressures of others' expectations. In a society that often honors being in the spotlight, they show us there's strength in staying hidden, and that real power comes from living life on your own terms. She doesn't have to dominate or fight for control. Her very being questions the usual stories that boost a man's confidence when he finds she won't yield to his will, let his pride lead their interactions, or fall for his tricks. It becomes obvious that his self-worth can't depend on his ego. Thanks to you everyone for listening. Keep a sharp eye. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you, and as always, until next time.